Removing those excess flesh from the sit bones as we sit at the front of the mat. An inhale lifts the spine up and rolls those shoulders up and down the back. That next inhale inhales those hands to our heart center, where we set an intention for our practice today. Bringing that intention into the body right here, right now. Embodying it and knowing it as the truth of who you are. Gently bowing down to that God being within you, within all things, and returning to center. And the exhale, releasing the hands to the knees, setting that left hand to the left side of the body and inhaling the right arm up. Walk those fingertips out, reaching through the right fingertips all the way to the right sit bones, full line of energy through the right side of the body. Breathe into the space you're creating. If you have the space, feel free to come down onto the forearm, continuing to extend the right side of the body with that shoulder nice and open here. Continuing with that deep, steady breath. The next inhale lifts us up. That exhale exhales that right hand down to the mat. Left hand inhales and lifts as we move into the other side. Walk those right fingertips out. Reach through those left fingertips all the way down to the sit bones. Full line of energy through the left side of the body. Open that shoulder. Continue to breathe here. If you have the space, feel free to come down onto the forearms. Continuing to reach through the fingertips. Continuing with that steady breath. The next inhale inhales us back up. Exhales that left hand down. Inhale, rising both those arms up towards the sky. Exhaling, twisting over to our left side. Palm facing up on the outside of the knee, keeping that shoulder open. On each of those inhales, inhale and lengthen that spine up. And those exhales, engage the core as we twist in a little bit deeper. Continuing with that steady breath. If that breath shortens for some reason, releasing yourself a bit from that twist. Being gentle with the body. As we continue to breathe here. The next inhale lifts those arms back up to center. Exhale, twisting to the other side. Palm facing up on that outside of the knee. That right hand is just to support us as those inhales lift the spine higher and taller. And those exhales twist us in deeper. Continuing with that beautiful steady breath here. Then next inhale, extends those arms back up. As we exhale, pull the hands and the energy down into the heart. Returning to that intention one more time. The next exhale releases hands to the mat, bringing the weight forward as we make our way into a tabletop position. Hands directly below the shoulders, knees or hip width distance directly below the hips. We'll move through a few rounds of cat and cow. On those inhales, we extend the spine long, and then we lift up. Those exhales, we round into the upper back. Inhale, extending forward and long first, and then lifting up. Exhale, rounding back. Inhale, extending forward and up. Exhale, rounding into that upper back. Returning to that neutral spine. Root that left arm down as we inhale the right arm up. Let those hips fall over to the right, stretch into the side of the body, and on an exhale, we'll exhale that right hand under the body, threading the needle here. Adjusting the left arm into a 90-degree angle so we can press gently into this mat, into the earth, to deepen that twist, with an option to extend the arm in front of you if it feels right, or continuing in that 90-degree angle, or an option to bind as well, rotating that arm around the shoulder, coming to the inside of the thigh. Wherever you are, continuing with that beautiful, steady breath. The next inhale, if you're in a bind, returning that hand back to the earth, rooting that left hand down. Few breaths in the 90-degree angle. And that next inhale inhales the right arm up. Exhale releases it back to the mat. The next inhale inhales the left arm. Shift those hips over, stretch for a moment, and that exhale threads the needle underneath. Adjusting that right arm either in the 90-degree angle or extending it long above the head towards the front of the mat. The option is always there to bind as well, wrapping around the back, coming to the inside of that left thigh. Whichever variation works for you, remembering this is your body, your practice. Wherever you are, continue to cultivate a deep, steady breath. If you're in that bind, returning the arm back to the 90-degree angle. A breath here as we root down. And the next inhale inhales that left arm up. Exhale, releasing it back to the mat. Spread those fingers nice and wide, root them down as we tuck the toes and lift up into a downward facing dog. Really pressing those hands into the mat, extending all the way down through the sit bones. Activating those legs by lifting those sit bones up high, and at the exact same time extending those heels and those calves down towards the earth. Really activating the legs as we keep that long extension in the upper body, the arms through the spine. And continuing with that steady, deep breath. Slowly walking the feet to the front of the mat, coming in a forward fold. Clasping those arms, opposite hands, opposite elbows, ragdoll, gently rocking side to side. Breathing into the legs, allowing gravity to assist in the lengthening of the spine here. Another option, if you wish to open those shoulders a bit more, is to clasp the hands at the small of the back and let the arms open above the head. Wherever you are, just taking a moment to really humble yourself in this beautiful bowing, this pose that offers us the opportunity to give gratitude and thanks for all that is in our lives and all that we are in our lives. Continuing with that steady breath. Those arms are above the head, releasing them back down towards the earth. The next inhale inhales us to a halfway lift, spine extended. Exhale, releasing down. With that next inhale, we rise all the way up, leading with our heart. Exhale, gentle back bend, shift the hips forward. Inhale, back to center, and exhale, pull the hands and the energy down into the heart. Taking a moment here to re-embody your intention. And now bringing the weight to that right foot as we lift the left leg up, coming into tree pose. You have variations here. You can keep the toes on the mat, foot against the ankle. You can come up on the inside of the shin or up to the inside of that thigh. Whatever you do, we are not going to root that foot into the knee. We never want to be pressing into our joints. So recognizing that this is a powerful hip opening pose, so keeping that left knee nice and wide, pointing to the edge of the room. Rooting that right foot down as we inhale, lift up through the spine, extending nice and tall all the way out of the crown. Those hands can stay at heart center or any other variation that you choose. Really focusing on your breath here. Deep, steady, life-giving breath. Slowly rotating the knee forward and releasing down. Walking the feet out if you need to, and then rooting into that left leg as we switch sides. That inhale brings the right foot up, taking whatever variation you choose of your tree pose. Inhaling arms and hands to the heart center. Really taking that counteraction in the legs as you press the foot into the thigh and the thigh into the foot, and recognize how this helps you grow taller. Rooting that left foot down, rising all the way through the entire body out to the crown of the head. Keeping that right knee open as we continue to breathe. Again, any variation you wish with the arms. You can grow those tree branches. You can open up into those powerful goddess arms. You can take the hands at the small of the back for another shoulder opener, or keep the hands at the heart. Your practice. And then slowly releasing everything down. Shake the feet out if need be. Then bring those feet to touch. Inhale those arms up, and that exhale releases us back into Utkatasana, chair pose. Making sure those knees are not crossing in front of the toes, so looking down to see those toes. Shifting the weight back if we need. Adding a gentle tuck to the tailbone. And that next inhale lifts the arms up, rises the heart, and allows that love to flow freely through. Continue to cultivate that deep, steady breath as we continue to settle and sit into this pose. The next inhale rises up tall. Exhale releases the arms down to the sides. Hands to the heart center one more time. Returning to that intention and to that breath if it has left us. Next inhale rises those arms back up, and that exhale sits us back into another chair pose, Utkatasana. Again, make sure that weight's shifting backward, gentle tuck of the tailbone, and those arms are lifting us up here, opening that heart as we breathe deep and steady. The next exhale releases us into a forward fold. So we walk those feet hip width distance apart, letting the body fall down. And then taking those peace fingers, wrapping them around the big toes here. And the next inhale extends the spine long. As that exhale pulls us back down into that forward fold, really breathing into the back of those legs, into those hamstrings. Nice, steady, life-giving breath here. Bringing those hands to the mat, rooting down, right leg back and the left leg back, high plank. Moving through chaturanga, lowering down, inhaling into that upward facing dog, exhaling back, downward facing dog. Rooting down here again, pressing into the mat, extending the spine back. That next inhale lifts the sit bones up towards the sky, and that exhale extends the calves and the heels towards the earth, activating those legs. The next inhale inhales left leg up, so we slowly bring knee towards nose, releasing the foot down to the mat. When you're balanced and steady, inhaling those arms up high. Making sure that that knee is over the ankle, that right hip is coming forward in line with the left. We're extending and reaching through those arms while at the same time those shoulders are staying in the socket. As we slowly bring the left arm across the body, opening up to the side of the room, reaching through each fingertip. Continuing with that nice deep lunge in the front leg. Stay with your breath. The next inhale inhales left arm back up to center. Returning to that beautiful high lunge. And that beautiful steady breath. As we exhale those hands down to the mat, step the left leg back to meet the right. Shifting the weight forward, lowering halfway down, chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. One breath here. And that next exhale sends us back, downward facing dog. And really rooting in here. The next inhale inhales right leg up. Bring the knee up to the nose before releasing the foot quietly down to the mat. Getting that steady base as we inhale those arms up, making sure that that knee is over that ankle, that left hip is coming forward as the right comes back, bringing alignment, reaching up through those arms, yet having those shoulders set within the sockets. Beautiful steady breath here. As we take and we open that right arm across the body, turning to face the side of the room. Gazing over the right arm if it feels right. Continuing with that same deep lunge in that front leg. Continuing with that same deep breath that we have cultivated and carried through our practice so far. The next inhale inhales us back up to center. And the next exhale slowly releases hands to the mat. Right leg back to meet the left. Moving through your chaturanga. To your upward facing dog on the inhale, exhaling back, downward facing dog. Making our way into dolphin pose as we bring the forearms onto the mat and we walk the weight forward. Those shoulders directly over the elbows here, bringing the weight into the arms as we strengthen the shoulders. Continuing with a steady breath as this pose can get intense, and that breath brings relief and it brings presence into this moment. Slowly walk the feet back out, rising back up to the palms, returning to that downward facing dog. Slowly release the knees to the mat, nice and wide, toes to touch, making our way into a child's pose here. Another beautiful opportunity to humble ourselves as we bow down. Reconnecting with the earth below us, and reconnecting with the breath, if it is left. Next inhale lifts us back up to tabletop as we bring the feet and the knees underneath the body and around to the front, bringing the soles of the feet to touch, coming into Baddha Konasana here as the knees fall out wide, wrapping the hands and the fingers around the toes. Inhale lifts the spine up tall, exhale extends the spine forward, coming deeper into those hips. Really paying attention to the length of the spine, never rounding in our practices, always extending. Never sacrificing one part of the body for another. We're growing and expanding the entire body together. And breathing deeply here. That beautiful, steady breath, that life-giving breath. Next inhale engages the core as we inhale and lift back up. Bring the hands to the outside of the knees, gently rising the knees back up as we extend them out long in front of us. Flexing those feet, removing the excess flesh, and rooting those sit bones down. Inhale, those arms up high. Exhale, leading with the heart as we fold forward over those legs, grabbing the outer edges of the feet or landing on the shins or thighs. In this pose as well, really paying attention to the lengthening of the spine, never rounding to find ourselves deeper into a pose. If the forehead is coming down, making sure that the stomach and the chest touch first, really cultivating and expanding that nice straight spine. And then settling in here, breathing into those hamstrings, breathing into that body. And that next inhale, we extend the arms long and we inhale, lift up using that core. Exhale those hands down towards our sides, bringing a nice bend into the feet, into the knees, bringing the hands behind us, fingers facing in, lifting up into a reverse tabletop here, breathing steadily. That beautiful, steady, life-giving breath. And when the next exhale comes, exhale releasing back down to the mat. Making our way into boat pose here, a nice extended spine, reaching those arms out in front of you. And actually, we're going to make our way on to our back, so slowly releasing down, extending and lifting the legs if you need to, but really engaging the core, taking your time as there's no rush here. And when you do finally make your way down onto your back, we're going to bend those legs again, walking those heels in towards our bottoms, hands to the sides of our body, those fingertips just gently touching the heels. Feet hip width distance apart. That next inhale lifts those hips up into a bridge pose. If it feels right, you can roll the arms under the body, clasping the hands under the back, pressing into the earth as you lift those hips and those thighs up towards the sky. Breathing into your back body here. Beautiful, steady breath. The next exhale releases us back down towards the mat. So we bring those knees into the chest, wrapping those arms around, gently rocking left to right. Giving ourselves a great big hug. Then releasing those hands, we're going to come into a supine twist here as we bring both of those legs and those knees over to the left side of the body, extending that right arm out long, rooting that right shoulder here, and if it feels right, you can allow that right head and the gaze to turn over towards the right side. Really breathing here and allowing the body to relax and cool. Continuing with that beautiful, steady breath and embodying that intention that you set for your practice. The next inhale, inhales those legs up to center again, shifting those hips over to the left as we slowly bring the legs over to the right. Extending that left arm out long. Turning the gaze over the left shoulder if it feels right. And once again, settling in here. Continuing with that beautiful steady breath. That next inhale inhales those legs back up to center, hugging them into the chest, gently rocking side to side, left to right. As we release those feet down to the mat, making our way into Shavasana, extending those legs out long, letting those hips fall open, those feet fall wide, bringing those shoulders underneath the body, shoulder blades flat on the mat, extending the arms out long, palms facing up, as we begin to completely let go. Letting go of that breath and allowing it to move naturally and freely in the body. Letting go of all of the muscles in the feet, the ankles, the calves, the shins, behind the knees, the quads, the thighs. Relaxing the muscles of the groin, the abdomen, the side body, across the chest, shoulders, and all the way down the arms to the fingertips. Releasing and relaxing the neck, the jaw, the muscles across the cheeks, around the eyes, forehead, and all the way down the scalp. Completely relaxing, completely letting go, knowing that you are held, supported, and loved, always. Starting to bring gentle movement back into the body, ankles, the wrists, fingers, the toes. When you feel ready, extending the arms above the head, full body stretch, fingertips all the way down to the toes. And then we're going to make our way onto the left side of the body, using that arm as a gentle pillow here. Taking a moment to breathe in fetal position. Connecting with Mother Earth below. The left side is the side from which we receive. So for a few breaths, receiving all that she has to offer. And when you feel ready, making your way back to that comfortable seat. Keeping those eyes closed down as we return to that nice extended spine, those shoulders that are rolled down the back. And when you're ready, that inhale inhales those hands back to a point of balance in front of the heart. Embodying that intention one more time. And gently bowing down to that God being within you and within all things. That next inhale inhales those hands up to your third eye center, bringing balance to your point of clarity. That exhale brings the hands to the lips, bringing balance to your words and balance to your truth. The next exhale brings those hands back to the heart, bringing balance to your love and balance to your heart. And from this place of balance within me, I recognize, honor, and appreciate the teacher, the light, and the divine within each of you and all things. Namaste.